Well, good morning. Welcome to Coffee with Doc, and that's a Tuesday morning. Glad you've joined us here this morning. And just by way of review, we're looking at Joshua, and if this is your first time to be with us, welcome. We're glad you're here. Want to continue to ask everybody to give me feedback and whatever you think of that can be done to make it better. I'm open to that. Maybe whether or not we need to keep going. I know some of you are being blessed by it, but maybe not. So we'll just see. If you want to give me some feedback, I'd appreciate it, good or bad. We're talking about we're looking at the book of Joshua, and we're in the 7th chapter. And we're looking at what I've called sin in the camp, what others have called sin in the camp. Maybe you want to name it something else, sin in your life, disobedience to God, whatever you want to call it. And we looked at some things yesterday that really just kind of put it in focus for us. And we talked about the fact that Joshua, with Jericho behind him, was at his most vulnerable, as were the Israelites. And the reason is we think that somehow when God wins a victory for us, that's it. He's going to give us some kind of supernatural strength to get through the next without him, but that's not true. And so we try to live off the power of a past victory. And then the worst thing that happens is we enter into battle without praying, with an absence of prayer. And so let's take a look now at this particular case with Joshua, where they're staying in the camp. Jericho lay behind them, great victory, and Jericho's in ruins, and they did exactly what the Lord had said they should do and would be able to do. And so they burned Jericho literally to the ground, and it's never been rebuilt to the splendor that it was. And the thing that happened with this is exactly those three things I talked about. They went into battle without prayer. They went into battle trying to live off the past victory in Jericho. And let me read here in Joshua chapter 7, and let me read it for you. And it says, "But the Israelites were unfaithful." Now there is the key to the whole thing. The Israelites were unfaithful in regard to devoted things. They wanted things. They were focused on things, not on spiritual things, but on things they could hold in their hand and look at and say, "This is mine." Well, it says the Israelites were unfaithful in regard to the devoted things. And Achan, now that's going to be a very important name in the rest of the chapter. Achan, son of Carmi, and it's going to be important to hear the genealogy, the familial ties. Achan, son of Carmi, the son of Zimri, the son of Zerah, of the tribe of Judah, took some of those devoted things. So the Lord's anger burned against Israel. Now notice here that one man did something that caused problems for all of Israel. Now folks, don't ever think that what you do, what you think, what you say is done in a vacuum. It is not done in a vacuum. There is a ripple effect that goes out and affects other people in our lives. So remember, son of Carmi, son of Zimri, son of Zerah, tribe of Judah. And so the Lord's anger burned against Achan. Well, yes, but that's not all. It says the Lord's anger burned against Israel. Now here's what happened. The first thing you need to remember here is that they underestimated the enemy. Folks, don't ever underestimate the enemy that you face. The devil is not omnipotent, but he's far more powerful, far stronger than any of you are, stronger than I am. If your IQ is 140 and you're a genius, the devil's IQ is 752. I mean, he's he's that much smarter than you are and stronger than you are. Don't ever underestimate the enemy of God. But they did. Listen to what it says in verse 2. Now Joshua sent men from Jericho to Ai. That's the next obstacle in their path. From there in Jericho, Jericho is defeated. So Joshua sent men from Jericho to Ai, which is near Beth-aven to the east of Bethel, and told them, go up and spy out the region. So the men went up and spied out Ai. They checked it out. And when they came back, in verse 3, when they returned to Joshua, they said, now listen to this, not all the army will have to go up against Ai. Basically, their report was Ai is a little bitty town. It's not like Jericho. It's not fortified with walls. It's not a bastion that we're going to have to use all of our resources to defeat. We don't need all of that. They're small. They're weak. We can take them. So it says, not all the army will have to go up against Ai. Send 2,000 or 3,000 men to take it. Flippant about it. Send 2,000 or 3,000 men to take it, and do not, listen to this, do not weary the whole army, for only a few people live there. Underestimating the enemy. So, what happened? Send 2,000 or 3,000 men to take it. Don't worry the whole army, for only a few people live there. So about 3,000 went up, and they were routed by the men of Ai. Just a few, but they routed them, it says. And it says they were routed by the men of Ai, who killed about 36 of them. And they say, well, now 36 out of 3,000 is not a bad casualty rate. Well, when you think you're going to walk over it, it's a bad casualty rate. And what happened was when they underestimated the enemy and they went up in their own strength, 3,000 against a few, and when they killed 36 of them, it says they chased the Israelites from the city gate as far as the stone quarries and struck them down on the slopes. At this, the hearts of the people melted in fear and became like water. That's what you're up against when you underestimate the enemy that you face. Don't ever underestimate Satan and what he can do in your life through the obstacles he brings up that may not appear to be big like Ai, but who will suck the life out of you before you even realize it. We're going to stop there. We're going to come back here tomorrow and jump right back into what caused the problem where they underestimated their enemy and how did they get defeated. That's what we're going to talk about tomorrow. So come back and join us in the morning. God bless you. Have a great Tuesday today.